this Who Would Win of the Week might take us at least 3 months to actually figure out. The Who Would Win of the Week this week is the Mighty Ducks, the original Mighty Ducks, the team from the first movie, versus the Sandlot crew. So we kind of talked about already. One, we're sticking to just the original Mighty Ducks. There's no guys from Team USA. There's nobody from when they go to prep school. It's just Gordon Bombay's very first coaching stint after he got his 7th DWI, which is a hysterical way to start that movie, by the way. That's underrated.
Is it really his 7th?
That's the whole reason that he's a lawyer, and I don't know what number it is. You could probably look into it. But the thing is, like, he's gotten he gets so many DWIs, and he gets himself out of them because he's a lawyer, that they're like, no, you have to at least mix in a little, like, community service for the boys or something. Yeah. So a quick breakdown. I'm looking at some rosters
here we go.
right
Here
now.
we go.
You got Ham.
Here's one of the most noticeable things
You got
from these things. Well, you go ahead and list them, Matthew, and then we'll get into it, I guess. My bad.
Well, I'm just kind of going through.
So,
tell me if I forget anybody. Ham, Smalls, Squints, yeah. Timmy and Tommy. I'm trying to think of who else.
Kenny.
What was that?
Kenny the Jet.
Oh, Kenny. Oh yeah, that. Who else? Who's this? Sorry, I'm looking at like. It's hard to look up a roster for the Sandlot because it's not a real baseball team. I'm looking at
as
like,
opposed
the
to the
cast
Mighty
of the
Ducks.
movie.
Yeah, you got Smalls. You got Benny the Jet Rodriguez, All-Star, obviously. Ham, another All-Star. Squints, yeah. Kenny Nunez, who's a pitcher. Grover, who's like the tall guy with the glasses. And Tommy and Timmy Timmons, the brothers. So there's 9 of them.
Yeah, that's everybody.
When you look at the Ducks roster, they have there's some of the kids aren't like utilized in the movie a lot, but they've got like more kids on that team, even if some of them are just background. So when I was looking at it, I was thinking if we get the top 9 or whatever, and still some of them are a little iffy, I guess, but you know, obviously
you definitely take Charlie Conway, you take Goldberg, you take Banksy, you take Fulton Reed, you take. Wait. Oh shit! I'm clicking shit now. I'm all over the place. Fuck. Connie. I mean, that's a.
I think you got to have Connie. You can't underestimate her.
Yeah. What are we at? You take Averton.
Yep. Jesse Hall. Did you say Jesse already?
I didn't say Jesse. You take Jesse, you fucking cake eater.
Yep. And then I guess to round it out, I would go Lewis and I don't know, the only other one that I was looking at was maybe Tommy, who is another short guy. I don't know. It's tough to remember some of them.
Yeah.
When you're kind of going in deep on the Mighty Ducks roster, but I think that's a pretty solid squad, and it definitely gets everybody that you need. One of the most interesting things about the lineup here is Jesse Hall of the Ducks and Kenny Nunez of the Sandlot are both played by the same actor. So I don't know if that's going to factor in. I mean, look, it's the characters going against each other, but these guys are obviously going to look exactly the same. So I think that might come in somewhere at these parts. And they're obviously going to be both. I mean, are these the two guys, if this is a Rumble, are these the two guys that are going right at each other? Are they matching up?
I will break this down for you very easily. The majority of the Mighty Ducks players are skill guys. Goldberg's just a bitch. He's The Sandlot team is nails. Except for Smalls, he's getting there. But the Sandlot team is nails. Like, they are... But here's the thing. I really think that it comes down to the majority of the Sandlot team versus Fulton Reed.
Mm-hmm.
And Fulton Reed is absolutely dummying those fucking idiots. Like, he is kicking every one of their ass, whether they come at him as a pack of 9 or they come at him individually.
Fulton...
Smart enough to beat him.
That's what I'm wondering. I mean, you have some guys, like, obviously, when it...
If the jet starts running away, then maybe it's game over, but then the fight never ends.
Right, and it's got to have a conclusion. Obviously... When it gets to the point where you have guys like Squints and guys like going up against Fulton, I mean, he could break those guys over his knee. That's not, I mean, it's like matchsticks to him. But I don't know. I think that maybe the combo of Ham, because look, I guess it all depends, because Ham, he's going to get winded pretty easily, I think. But I mean, he's got a little of that fat strength, and then I think that we might be underestimating Grover, who, again, I mean, we don't know a ton about him. They say at the end of the movie that he got really into the 70s and then just disappeared. So that's the type of kid that we're dealing with here. But he's, like you said, Matthew, everybody on the Sandlot squad, Smalls obviously iffy, is nails, and I think Grover, even though we don't see his character necessarily as much, is definitely one of those guys, because he's even though he's in the background, I think there's just a sort of a quiet, toughness to him, and he's tall. I think he's got reach for sure. So I think that combo, at a certain point, might be able to give Fulton Reed at least a run for his money.
One thing I did underestimate that I'm just now thinking about is that with the Mighty Ducks, as much as like they aren't really a super scrappy team, I will say that their ability to learn and develop skill is uncanny, because in an hour and 26 minutes or whatever long that first movie is, they can't even skate, and they are now winning the Minnesota District Championship. Like, they're quick learners. They're athletic
point,
people.
Actually. That's a very good point.
If pre-fight Fulton just said, maybe do a little of this, they actually might go in there and just start kicking ass. Ian, what do you think?
I was gonna say, where are they fighting, on an ice rink or like somewhere that they're not skating?
No,
it's got to be neutral territory.
I think they're off ice.
That's what
it's
I'm
neutral
saying.
territory.
Because most of the time, like, Banks is good. He's a good skater. But we don't know how actually athletic he is, where Benny could literally sneak up on Fulton just because he's the fastest guy probably out there. So, like,
Banks is an athlete. Come on, Banks
is an athlete in general, but I'm saying for baseball, they're used to running, where hockey players are skating. And even though they're a good runner, they've got baseball cleats. They're running everywhere. They're quick. So
they don't have baseball cleats.
I think they're in the street.
Just wanted to clarify.
Yeah,
well, you know what I mean.
They're all wearing Converse.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that they're in the street, and I think that you also have to consider, they're running all the time, but if you're a naturally good skater, your balance is good, right? You're comfortable with your body. You have good control of your body.
Most of them are, not all of them.
But I would think that Banks is one of those guys. Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
I think Goldberg, I think somebody's pulling their fist back at Goldberg, and he's getting a Philly. He's taking down a cheesesteak. He tapped on the fight instantly.
Let's talk...
I don't know. I think that...
I was going to say Goldberg versus Hammy. Who wins that one straight up?
Yeah, let's talk about that. That's one of the most exciting matchups in this whole Rumble is Goldberg v. Ham. Matthew, you look like you got something to say about this one.
Yeah. I don't think that Goldberg would do very well in a fight in the movie. If you took modern day Goldberg, who's now in jail for like doing meth,
if you take a grown meth head, then sure, he could beat up a little kid from the 1950s. Nobody's debating that.
No, but I think that Goldberg is he's a bit of a marshmallow.
Well, he doesn't even like getting pucks shot against him, so why he wouldn't like a punch?
Yeah, that's the thing. I think Goldberg is definitely going to like his first reaction is going to be to try and like talk his way out of it somehow.
Yeah.
And Ham, as we know, I mean, he's a pretty good talker himself, so he's obviously not going to be affected by that in any way. He's gonna shoot
Now
back.
that would be
you know.
You want to talk about chirps? That would be a chirp off. Or you take
Ham versus Averman.
You know what else?
And a chirp off.
If you could, yeah, Averman's got good chirps too. But if you take
that's the thing. If you get the Averman Goldberg combo, Averman Goldberg, Ham and Squints, I do think that Averman and Goldberg are gonna take that. If we're talking chirp off, then yes. If we're talking fight, again, I mean Squints, like, you know, we know he's small, but the guys, the Sandlot is a scrappy ass bunch. Like, they are not.
Well, the other thing I was gonna say, if you take Jesse Hall, if you take like both Brandon Adams characters, Jesse Hall versus Kenny, and you just let them chirp at each other, I could probably sit there and watch that as a TV show for like 3 hours.
Yeah, that would be this would be a long fight, just because the first 4 hours would be them just yelling the craziest, funniest shit at each other, and then eventually Fulton Reed would, you know, have enough of it and start things going.
That's a mean man. That is a mean man. He is strong. He is a man-child compared to the rest of those kids. I really think that at the end of the day, he would bring the Mighty Ducks to victory. I don't even think that the rest of the Mighty Ducks are playing that big of a factor. As long as like one or two of them can hold their own, I think Fulton Reed can take care of the rest.
That's tough. I think that
because the way that I would base it is that I'm going based off of skill. Like I'm taking Benny the Jet, and he's fighting Banks. Because they're both skill guys, and I think that Benny's winning that fight.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah. But that's just one example. So if you go down the roster, at the end of the day, I think Fulton Reed's working his way through the whole roster. Ian, all right, I don't know. What do you think, Eddie? You got to pick, Ian. You got to pick. Who are you liking? You look like you're thinking hard over there.
Looking at it as they learn a lot, to your point. So I was initially strong Sandlot folks because I'm thinking they're scrappy, they can chirp, they're good. But then I thought about it. You made one really good point. They learn really quickly, and at the beginning, all they were doing was fighting. They didn't even like score goals. All they did was fight. And most hockey players fight a lot compared to baseball, where it's like throw one punch and it's over. So I'll take the Ducks. I'll take the Ducks on this one. You changed my mind.
That's good persuasion. Andy, you're still going Sandlot?
I don't know. You're definitely pulling me over towards the Ducks because you made a lot of good points. And, yeah, it's tough. I honestly don't think that the Ducks are going to be ready for the Sandlot. Like, I think they're just not ready to take that kind of heat.
The grit The Sandlot squad has the grit factor. Yeah. They slap on their jeans and their Chucks every day, and they go to the diamond and they play till they go to bed.
Yeah, I just don't.
That's commitment.
The great point that you made was definitely that the Ducks learn really quick. They're a cerebral group in some ways for sure, and they might be able to, definitely quick on their feet, thinking wise, maybe pull a few tricks out of the bag. That's almost enough that's not quite enough to convince me, but
can I interrupt? Because I have an idea. Does it matter, looks like a fire is right near me, does it matter that you now know, like with the Sandlot, obviously there was the Sandlot too, let's just kind of throw that aside.
Yeah.
But
don't get me talking about that.
I know, because it's, in my opinion, not great. But if you look in the Ducks, okay, growing up, as you saw in D2 and D3, even if you still have the original cast, they grew up to be very strategic, and they were pretty good fighters. So I think that probably half of turning my vote, because I'm looking at it as they're very good with pranks. They thought a lot of things through, and they did a lot of fighting. Where like the Sandlot's probably great, but they're more of like it's a one shot and we win, or we're all going to be winded and we're out, no matter how fast we're running.
Because the Sandlot,
if we were
they've got an edge. They've got an edge, but at a certain point, I mean, how much does that end up helping you when you're going up against the Ducks? Look, I think that in a street fight, obviously, like I keep saying, the Sandlot is going to come out swinging, and I don't think the Ducks are going to be ready initially for him. Fulton Reed is going to hold his own right off the bat for sure. He might have to get his balance, but that's going to happen really quick. But at a certain point, the Ducks are definitely not going to go down easy, and they're not going to give up. Even if
Ducks fly together, baby. Ducks fly together.
Even if they realize that they can't fist fight their way out of this, they are going to be able to finagle some way to make things happen.
They could just quack. They could quack the Sandlot team.
You know what? I think that would definitely rattle them if they all started doing that. That would.
Another thing that Ian kind of put me on, and I'm not trying to get off the rails here when I say this, but I think that this is a good fight, and I'm glad we did this because thinking about it, if we were to pick Mighty Ducks 3 when they're playing for the Eden Hall Warriors, they're absolutely the Eden Hall Warriors team is kicking the shit out of the Sandlot team. That team, Team USA even it gets because Team USA beats Iceland, and Iceland is fucking scary in that movie.
Yeah.
I used to have nightmares like I hope I never have to play Iceland when I'm older. Iceland doesn't even exist.
They've obviously changed a lot, and the D2 lineup they've got a lot going for them in that lineup.
Oh, yeah, they get more skilled, obviously. But I think that at the end of the day, I think that the Ducks will fly together and maybe jump on the back of Fulton Reed and ride this one to victory. I don't think that the Sandlot has anybody that could take down Fulton Reed. To be
underrated factor in the Mighty Ducks movie is how gritty Charlie Conway's mom is because she's pissed at Bombay like the first half of the movie. So he's got a lot of grit already.
I wish that the Sandlot team had a coach so that we could get Gordon Bombay.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
In on the action because
Gordon Bombay versus the Dog versus Hercules, the Beast.
Yeah, that's a no-brainer. When Gordon Bombay plays in the second movie, when he plays that game of posts versus the head coach of Iceland, and you find out that he's the one that hurt Bombay's knee in the first place, and Bombay stands in there after taking that slash, like. I don't know, man.
He's an American hero. There's no doubt about that. But if we're talking about these lineups, oh, man. Coming in here, I was so hardcore Sandlot. But I really think that the mental edge is going to give the Ducks, it's going to put them over at the end of the day for this fight. And Fulton Reed is not to be trifled with. I think you're right. Man. He's going to take out at least, he's going to take out at least 3 or 4 of these guys on his own.
When you really think about it, kids on the Mighty Ducks were doing poop dollar to full-grown men, and the Sandlot kids couldn't even figure out how to knock on a door to get back a fucking baseball.
Well, because there was the night. All right, fair enough.
Yeah, I think you just solved it right there.
There's no. Yep, that I cannot correct that. So, you've turned me around, Matthew. I'm gonna have to lock in my answer that the Ducks are taking this one.
Ducks fly together, baby.
Man,
surprising.
Ian sent me that picture of me. Yeah, this is the first time we've ever agreed, Andy. This is a big moment in Tour de history.
On a couple others. We agree.
Yeah, but I feel like this is the first time I ever persuaded you to side with me.
Yeah, that might be true.
I've watched both these. I feel like all of us have watched both these movies. Well, maybe not you so much, the Mighty Ducks, but even then, I've watched the Mighty Ducks a lot of times, like more times than any human should watch most
I might
movies.
go watch it right now.
And I've watched The Sandlot like the two. Do you remember you used to you had The Sandlot on DVD, and I used to sneak into your bedroom when you were like at your friend's house and take your Sandlot DVD so that I could watch The Sandlot. Yeah. And you would come home and be like, "Where the fuck's my Sandlot DVD?" Yeah. Start swinging baseball bats at my head and shit.
Oh my God, that's not true, Matthew. We're not getting into this again, man.
All I'm hearing is you're abusing Matt. That's all I got.
Jesus Christ, are you kidding me? If anybody is abusing anybody, it's Matthew Canada. You know, that's the soundbite for the episode.
I made you tougher, Andy. I turned you into a man.
Jesus Christ.
You think you would have been able to grow that beard without me hassling you as a child?
Yeah, without a doubt.
Oh.
Calmly, without a doubt.
Well, okay. So bottom line, lock it in. We're still sending it to Twitter because it's just, I don't know. It's just what we do. We like to hear the people's opinion. But I think that we're all in agreement that the Mighty Ducks win this fight. And there's different ways to look at it. The Sandlot's nobody's going down without a fight. This is going to be a good scrap. I think that if we had this podcast when those movies came out, however many years ago, and we could have arranged because they came out around the same time, right?
Boy, I think the Ducks came out a few years later. Or wait, is that even right?
Okay.
Because when
Are they close?
They've got to be really close, because later on, maybe the Mighty Ducks came out first. Fuck, I don't know. Are you looking it up, Matthew? Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking.
Because in the
the Mighty Ducks came out in '92 and the Sandlot came out in '93.
Wow. Okay.
Imagine a crossover. See, we should have been able to create a crossover. That would have been some gas.
What if Squints, you know what he did with Wendy Peppercorn, like acting like he was dead?
Mm-hmm.
What if he played dead? Would that fool any of the Mighty Ducks into somehow tricking them?
I think that it would.
Fulton Reed doesn't.
No, not Fulton Reed.
Fulton Reed's just killing everybody.
Yeah, exactly. He's too busy. He's going on a tear. But I think that there are a couple guys that would definitely work on. He could take out a couple through that.
You could get Goldberg.
Goldberg would be looking over top.
That's the thing. I think that definitely part of the Sandlot strategy is a Squints and Ham team up. Like Squints is distracting them. Next thing you know, Ham's like they're tabletopping people, right? And they're
Squints is a scrapper.
Yes, absolutely,
Squints is a scrapper. But
I think at the end of the day,
but at the end of the day, the Mighty Ducks.
Yeah,
win the fight.
that's the thing. It'd be a great, it'd be a well-earned Rumble
crossover movie.
But at the end of the day, the Ducks, they have to take this one.